You know, it's an interesting regional when Synchro ends up making the top cut. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys do not miss out on more awesome content. So this was done by the Industrial Illusions company out here for this regional breakdown. And your most represented deck in the top cut of this is actually Kashtira, of all things. We have been on a pretty big Kashtira revolution for a while, it feels like, where players, I mean, it's got some of the best spot removal options in the current meta. In the option to answer some of these more problematic cards, I mean, comes from Unicorn and Fenrir being able to, you know, take care of those options to allow you to do your thing. So I'm not surprised to still see that Cash has been doing, you know, relatively well. Now, we also had one Rescue Ace duelist, and I'm also not surprised about that. Ace has been another one of those pretty mainstay decks in the meta here. I am very curious to know how that's going to change here, though, shortly, as we see the meta undergo its evolution. We also had Orcust Horus, so that's basically, I mean, you're using the Orcust cards for the big pieces, and then the Horus cards to facilitate dropping the really terrible bricks that those things can produce. We also had a, what was it, I think a 60 card Manadeum pile. That really caught my attention. I'm like, whoa, man, really packing in the bricks. We also had Runic Bysteel, which I'm not all that crazy about seeing that deck anymore. Like, it's been pretty normalized at this point. We also had Centurions stepping on into the meta here. And I'm actually kind of happy to see that Centurion is actually doing something right now. You know, Red Dragon Calamity Turbo deck still has it in it. And of course, we had a Synchro pile at the end of this regional, which I'm actually very happy to see. The, you know, basically you're able to kind of toggle up and do all the little crazy boards that you would. I think it just proves that Junk Speeder is one crazy card. Let's pass on over to deck list. So winning our event is Rescue Ace, and you know, you talk about interesting little innovations that these decks can kind of bring to the table, though this has got some very, very basic stuff in it. This build chose to do triple Ash, the triple Nibiru, and we're also packing in triple Effect Veiler as well. I've seen a lot more people heading towards Ghost Spell in the main, but this duelist, for their call for their regional, chose to actually side deck the Ghost Bells instead of maining them, and I think that might have been a pretty interesting call here. You do see that we are citing what is deemed the worst Rescue Ace trap down in the side deck as well. And I mean, there's not really much else to really say about Rescue Ace in its current iteration. You know, the one impulse just gets you there. No fire attacker on the side like we were seeing from a couple other lists. I did like that trend. I thought it was really cute, you know, getting to the sculpture hand, but first place, okay. Second place out here is actually our Orcust Runic pile, and of course you are playing, wow, we have 3 of the names, and we're not actually playing Dumaltef, the draw one. We actually chose to play the one that gives the protection effect, but that one will always have guaranteed attack points versus, you know, the other one that really won't, which is kind of an interesting choice. We're doing the adventure package in here, which I also kind of like, you know, being able to have that solid base for the deck, because oh boy, your only normal summon that you really care about is Grisu. And even like Grisu getting the chance to resolve, you can special summon it if you really need to along the way. So you've got a couple of interesting little methods to kind of supplement, you know, what you need to do here. But I think actually having access to the adventure package is a good call. No Fenrirs in this list, by the way. Somebody didn't think that they needed them. Speaking of outrageous amounts of cards, this is our 60 card Manadeum pile. And let me tell you, the first thing I see here is there's a lone Illusion of Chaos, or Magician Souls in here with the illusion. So, you know, all those terrible field spells that your deck plays, well, instead of having to, you know, burn off one of them, what if we just trade it in for some value? You know, what if we just suddenly turn it into a draw 1? Well, that seems a little bit more enticing. There's a lot of points in this deck can draw into, maybe some of the most not flattering cards along the way. So I think the cute little splash engine that you're getting with it, you can also mill off Diabellstar if you really want to. All right, so the little tech choices like that you can play that I think can kind of make or break the deck experience. But I like that, all right? That seems pretty worthwhile. Fourth place out here, Bystial Runic. Oh, man, now this is one of those decks that, does it ever really evolve and change over time? I don't really think so. I do see that we are trying to get cheesy in here. We are playing Duality. We've seen how cute the Duality interactions can be with Gary. Okay, I see that we're also playing the custom card in here, the Sword Soul, that lets you basically banish it from the graveyard, special summon out the Ecclesia, which tends to help out a lot. I believe you can also bring out the Quem off of that as well. Let's see here. We are citing the 2 Shufflers, and we are citing the additional Runic monster as well. Okay, so this deck has its bases covered. I don't think you're going to have much of a problem if you're trying to play this. Just kind of keep in mind that, when you do sit down to play against this, if you're playing Fire, you're probably going to have a pretty decent matchup against this deck. It's only the taking away of resources that can be the issue. Next up is our Kashtira deck. Holy moly! We are doing the Ogre with the prep, which I feel like that's become pretty standard now as well. More players are kind of holding on to, hey, Ogre getting into the prep. Pretty good. Wow, we are playing 1 Bell, 2 Mourner. That's kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about those ratios, but it does open up the door, at least for you to play. And then, of course, triple Rise Heart, and then one of the Scareclaw, one for the defense. No tier elements, Kashtira. We were seeing that show up a little bit. I think that time is over. It's really cute to see what you can do. And we are also seeing the G-Golem Crystal Heart down there as well. I've genuinely enjoyed seeing the G-Golem Crystal Heart actually show up. It's cute, the little things that you can actually do with the G-Golem Crystal Heart in this build. So your first Kashtira deck got some standard innovations here. Now we jump on over here. Oh man, we have our second list right off the bat. Huh. This reminds me of exactly our first build here. You're playing the 1 Ogre, the 1 Prep, 1 Bell, 2 Mourner. 2 of the Moonlit Child. Okay. This build's doing double droll as opposed to the last list. I feel like everything is pretty much the same here, at least in terms of this. You do have the additional droll down on the side. You also do board in the additional Ghost Bells if you need to. It depends on your matchups. The thing that they're trying to do here is they want to make sure whatever they're doing for their matchups, they have everything covered. And I think that's a very important thing to kind of look at in these matchups with these decks is, are the card choices we're making going to be optimal? And are we going to be hitting our high notes in order to clear things out? And both of these lists, pretty much playing the same thing. I think that's good. Next up is our Centurion pile, sporting off the Horus package. And this is pretty normal at this point. I think the Horus package is honestly the way to go with this deck. Let's call it what it is. Being able to just drop down free level 8s on the field for you to be able to synchro with and then start putting the 12s on the field. You've got to get to a Legatia and then you've got to get to a Crimson Dragon, all right? As long as you can clear off those 2 things, maybe you can leave Hoppy on the field to generate some hand trap resources back for you. It's important. This build is also playing 2 copies of Crossout Designator, which is also kind of interesting. I actually like the idea that, we're able to generate all of these resources. Okay, I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. No Gravity Collapse in here. That was a cute tech choice we saw from another list fairly recently, but this build's not dedicating the crazy resources to it. So overall, I think this looks good. I'm impressed. And our last list here is our Synchro pile. Now, you're going to see that this is playing a Diabellstar package, and the reason for the Diabellstar package is the Witch is a level 7. The level 7 helps facilitate the 8s and the 10s a lot easier. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it has made this deck a lot more consistent. I see that we have a nice little tech choice of a nice little tuner monster up there in the upper right. Haven't seen him in forever for this list, but this it's not like it's an incredibly standard list, but I like the choices that this list is doing. Especially, you got Final Ligma in here as well. Like, okay, this deck really is going to ping down those big monsters for your opponent. So, what do you guys think about this list? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back at later day, guys. Peace out.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.